Welcome into another episode of Fantasy Football Picks and Bets presented by, that's right, Prize Picks. I am your host, Lauren Carpenter, and you may know me as Stepmom Lauren, and we have a super fun show lined up today. We have, obviously, week one Prize Picks. We have hot takes. We have late round targets that you should be going after in your drafts. That's right. This is the last weekend, Labor Day weekend, before real football actually begins. And my illustrious guest and I, we will be talking about our favorite and probably most exciting matchups that we are looking forward to in week one. And as always, everybody, if you have not yet signed up for prizepicks.com with promo code MMN, it is not too late. Go and do it because you get your deposit of up to $100 matched. That's right. It's like free money. That is super fun. But not only do we have this awesome promo code MMN on prizepicks.com, but we have a brand new contest. It's the 7-Eleven Challenge. Now, first, you can sign up with that promo code MMN, obviously, because you get your deposit doubled. But if you're already signed up, that's okay because you are eligible too. All you have to do to qualify is submit 5 over-under entries on any contest except Monday nights that total $7.11. There are weekly $50 bonuses for all 5 picks that are correct on top of your 10-time win from your entry, and a season leaderboard with promo payouts are shown after week 18. So first place gets $3,000, second place $1,500, third $1,000, fourth $500, fifth $250. It's like there's so many things going on here. I am already out of breath. There is also a $100 bonus for the person who comes, get this, exactly in the middle. And then another $100 for the person who comes dead last, which I think is kind of fun. In order to qualify for those, you'll have to make that entry 18 weeks of the season. So remember that you have to do it 18 weeks of the season, and you only get 1 entry per week, and the leaderboard will update on Monday nights, hence why there's no Monday contest included. Your first 5-pick entry must be for $7.11. That is how it's tracked. And it's going to be a ton of fun. Remember, don't forget that you can sign up with that promo code MMN or follow the link, click on the link, either one. You're still following it to the same target that's in the description of this video, promo code MMN to get your deposit matched. No, you don't have to use promo code MMN in order to play in the contest, but hey, be kind of fun to have that money to play in the contest. Am I right? Okay. We have a lot to get to after all of that with all these crazy fun things that are going on with Prize Picks. So let me bring in my, as I called him, illustrious, shall I say, famous, nay, fabulous, nay, just so many wonderful things. It is LaQuan Jones coming back to hang out with me. I don't know why. He's just way too nice. LaQuan, thank you so much again for joining me. How are you, my friend?
Of course. I'm doing well, doing great. I'm ready to talk some football. We are 1 week away from live football where it counts, where it matters, where we get to see full speed, hard hitting football.
It's almost too good to be true. Like, I feel like I'm going to wake up and it's going to be, June and we're like, no, it's going to be really sad. But if that did happen, then I think I would really know what to do when it came to who I was picking, especially for Prize Picks, of which we can actually start looking at week one, which is super fabulous. And as always, what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and go from the categories and tabs on prizepicks.com, which are rushing, passing, and receiving. That's a rushing, receiving. I can just mesh them all together. It doesn't even matter. So if you're following along, go ahead and follow along on those tabs with us. But LaQuan, tell me first, what are some smash autos here under rushing that you are just must do? Let's go.
All right. So first up, I got Ronald Jones for 50.5 yards versus Dallas. So I have the over for Ronald Jones. I believe this is something that is very doable, being that I still have Dallas as that lingering kind of not too good defense. I think Micah Parsons isn't going to upgrade that defense completely, not all of a sudden. So I really think they're still going to be respecting the pass because you have Tom Brady, the GOAT, as the quarterback. So therefore, that means less stacked boxes. That means Ronald Jones is going to be able to hit those holes. Now, ever since playoff Lenny, whatever you want to call him, Leonard Fournette, has entered the picture, we've been seeing a very angry runner out of Ronald Jones. So Bruce Arians still looks at him as the guy. So this is an obvious smash for me to have him be able to achieve over the 50 yards.
I like that. Real quick question before I want to get your second take, because I think you do have a second one here. Do you feel that Ronald Jones is super disrespected, like in redraft?
Yes, it's crazy because he's
I
gotten
know, right?
better every year, and it's weird that people still keep sleeping on him. And I gotta say, I gotta admit, last year I wasn't a believer, but I changed my tone once I started seeing him week to week. Like he is actually, a good back. I can take him.
One of the things that Bruce Arians said in the offseason, he was talking about how he's like great friends with all the players. And he's like, yeah, Lenny and I. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you and Lenny just go out and grab some beers. Like, again, I was super Alexis from Schitt's Creek right there. I apologize. But it's really funny because I feel like even Bruce Arians forgets that Ronald Jones is there. So you're right. He does play angry. He plays with this like, hey, I'm still here and I want to compete for this job. So I really like that. So what's your second one here under rushing?
I got the under for Chase Edmonds for 43.5 yards. Like it's a little low. It looks achievable, but they're facing Tennessee. So I don't look to Chase Edmonds for him to be getting the job done on the ground, especially with the healthy James Conner there, who can be a very good backup or featured back. Now, Chase Edmonds, we've seen him have a full workload. I don't look at him as a great runner. I look at him more as the pass catcher. So there's just one game last season that we watched him against Miami where he had 25 rushing attempts. He averaged 2.9 yards per carry with the full on workload. So now you throw in Kyler Murray in there with the rushing attempts. You have a James Conner who's probably going to be that guy for the short yardage. So I don't look for Chase Edmonds to get the job done on the ground. So 43.5, I'm going to take the under on there as a smash.
I do at first when I saw this, I was like, oh, really? But you're right. There is a healthy James Conner that's here. And frankly, I want to see what he can do. And I'm pretty sure that his coaching staff wants to see what he can do
Yes,
in
they
real
want to see
time
what they
gameplay.
want.
So we'll probably see a lot of James Conner. So that is a super smart move. I like that. So if you're
Okay.
following along, everybody, we're going to move right on over to the passing category. And I love this pick. LaQuan, please
So
elaborate.
I'm taking Justin Herbert for 274 yards. I know they're facing Washington, but I'm taking the over here. Now, hear me out. Now, I understand Washington's defense last year was very good. That secondary was lights out, but I don't fully believe that the Washington offense will be able to take on the LA Chargers defense now with new head coach Brandon Staley, former Rams defensive coordinator. And the Rams, if you're living under a rock, they were number one in defense. I like to flex on that as well. But if you take Brandon Staley, you put him with a Chargers defense that was already playing hard, playing fast. They were stud defenses last year. Now you put a Brandon Staley there, that Washington offense is going to see a lot of 3-and-outs, which makes that defense very tired. You have Justin Herbert, who's going to be slinging the ball. He only had 3 games last season under 250 yards. I'm loving the odds on that. Justin Herbert is going to feast against a very tired Washington defense in week 1.
I love that because I love Justin Herbert so much. I like to say, like when he had his long, like
Yeah,
flow,
the
it
locks.
wasn't really
Yeah.
that long. His locks, his tresses, it'd always be like, hey, hold my surfboard, watch this, And then when he got it cut, it turned more into like, hold my juice box, watch this.
Yeah.
Like I really preferred the surfboard one, but I still love Justin Herbert no matter what. But moving right along to receiving, speaking of young quarterbacks, and I don't know, maybe there may have been some kind of news about this team in the offseason. You have someone under receiving that kind of involves that team, and I really, really like it. So tell me about it.
Yes, I'm actually happy that Mac Jones is named the starter. Cam Newton, unfortunately, he did lose a job, but Mac Jones was set up for success. And I'm taking Jonnu Smith for the over for 35 yards. This is a clear smash. Like we're talking Jonnu Smith over 35 receiving yards. Yes, I am taking that 110%. This man in open space, I don't know if you need to look up highlights of Jonnu Smith. He is electric. He explodes off the ball in open space. I get really excited about talking about Jonnu because he's like those tight ends that have that home run ability from anywhere on the field. So you're telling me 35 yards is all he has to achieve? That's a smash play. He can easily be one of the top targets in this offense going into the next year. So smash Jonnu Smith for the over for 35 yards.
I love that as well. I seem to be liking all of your picks. I also like the next one. But before we get to that, another thing too, which, people may or may not remember or may or may not forget is that rookie quarterbacks usually tend to like their tight ends. And when you're a tight end as talented, as large, as explosive, and as agile as Jonnu Smith, look for him to make some serious waves throughout the entire season, not just in week one. And so we were talking a little bit about that Washington football team earlier, but this is an example that, like, if you keep up on the news and you kind of just pay attention to some alerts that come around, I wouldn't have thought this in my head, and I should have, because I'm the host of the show, but I'm really glad you have this next person in here, because I'm like, oh my God, I need to start looking for this a little bit more. So tell us your next person under that receiving for your over-under.
I have Curtis Samuel for 43.5 yards. I'm taking the under on him against the Chargers, being that I already explained that defense is going to be playing lights out. Week one, they're healthy. They're excited. It's week one. Football is back. So Curtis Samuel has been dealing with a groin injury most of the summer, if not all this summer. So I do look for him to get eased into this offense, not a full send, not to be out there making a huge impact. So I really feel like, that Washington offense is going to be dealing with a lot. They're going to be struggling. So therefore, they may lean elsewhere. I don't think Curtis Samuel is going to be a guy on the field that's going to be having 43.5 yards or even above that. So I'm going to take the under on this. This seems like a smash play as well, just being that he's been dealing with injury all summer.
And that's exactly what I mean. I just got an alert that, Ron Rivera's like, oh yeah, we're expecting him to be like, no, none of that says confidence to me. No. And plus the target monster in that offense is Terry McLaurin, or it's Logan Thomas, let's be honest. So I really like that as well. I mean, that just confirmed like the under, absolutely, for sure. And everybody, I did not give my takes. I never do, but that doesn't mean that I won't. So I am coming out with my own Monday prize picks, but stay tuned for that. I'm not going to do it on this one. I'm just making LaQuan do all of the work on his own because I'm bossy like that. And I can, like I said, it's my show. So deal with it. Whatever. See, I'm telling you, our boss may come to regret this. I think our producer already does. Love you. Anyway,
maybe.
We have fun here. And one other fun thing that we have planned, one of the few fun things that we have planned for the rest of the show, are hot takes and bold predictions. I had several, but then the ones I thought were really spicy when I thought about it really weren't that spicy. Like probably the Chiefs and the Buccaneers will play for the Super Bowl again. Like doable, very doable, not that hot and spicy. So LaQuan, I'm going to let you go first with your hot take.
Ooh, this one is spicy.
It is spicy and I love it.
I don't think people are ready to have this conversation about.
I don't think they are.
Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think people need to understand to pump the brakes just a tad bit. Understand Andy Reid is saying he wants to get CEH more involved in the passing game, but Jerick McKinnon is there as well. I have a spicy hot take for you guys. I think Jerick McKinnon will out-target CEH for the rest of the season. That is something very capable to happen, being that McKinnon is very pass catcher happy. He can be able to catch the passes out of the backfield and be explosive from anywhere on the field. Now, if we look at, the targets last year, CEH had 54 targets. He caught 36 balls. I'm not too happy about that. That doesn't give me confidence that he's going to be used in that offense as such. If we look at Jerick McKinnon last season, he had 46 targets for 33 catches. So it's like, yeah, he can do that job. He could take over that. So therefore, I think CEH will be more focused on the early downs and short yards, et cetera. But when it comes to third down, they need to make the first down. I think Jerick McKinnon is going to see all those targets.
Okay, I find that fascinating because when I actually just heard a podcast recently where there was, some doubt on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I absolutely adore. So when I saw this, I was like, flames on the side of my face. One of my favorite movies, Clue. It's absolutely Mrs. White. I absolutely love it. So, or was she Miss Scarlet? I don't remember which one she was. I think she was Mrs. White. That's how much I love the movie. I don't remember who said it. Yeah. But the thing with me that I really appreciate what you're coming from here is that you're not saying that Jerick McKinnon is going to finish higher than him in the overall fantasy ranks. No. So remember to look at this, because I don't necessarily think that this is all that hot or spicy or bold. And you look at it, am I right? Yeah. But normally people would take it that way, but that would not surprise me if that happened. However, I will throw one caveat at you, because we are having this conversation.
Yeah.
CEH was just en fuego, and he had way more touches. He had way more snap counts. I don't really know about targets. I don't have them right in front of me. That was before Le'Veon Bell was on the roster. And when Le'Veon Bell got on the roster, then CEH just plummeted. just because of a timeshare, and it was volume. It had really nothing to do with talent.
Yeah. It's
and
not
Le'Veon Bell, Jerick McKinnon, we're kind of talking apples and oranges right there. But being involved in the passing game, when Andy Reid says that he wants to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire more involved in the passing game, fraud, lies. That means Jerick McKinnon is going to be getting more involved in the passing game. I have that
literally written in my notes. I don't know why I said it. Like, for him to say that, I think he's just saying he wants to get the running backs involved in general. It's not just CEH. It is a lie.
Lies, fraud. He is a fraud when it comes to that. This is the epitome of coach speak. So I do actually really like this. Is it spicy and is it bold? I think so, because CEH truthers will probably throw some shade in your direction. They
already clicked out. As soon as I said that, they know. Next video.
But I mean, I did prepare this as like, this is super bold and spicy. That's the point. That's the point, everybody. It's bold and spicy and fun to talk about. Yeah, exactly. Although I think yours mine definitely is not going to come
making it worse. They're definitely leaving this video right now.
I know they are. But no, CH is still going to do really well though, people. He's going to do great. Just maybe not have as many targets and receptions as Jerick McKinnon. I am really not helping this hot take thing. So I'm like, totally believe it. Anyway, mine is not. My hot take, after I went through a plethora of different ones, is I think that Jameis Winston is not going to throw a single interception for at least the first 4 weeks of the 2021 NFL season.
This is spicy.
That's my hot take. This is my hot spicy
take. I love it. Absolutely.
I love it. Exactly. Thank you. And the reason why I'm throwing this out there is because it probably is not going to happen. So hence the spicy bold take. Yeah. But let's say on the off chance that it even did. Okay. He is known as the 30 for 30, the 30 touchdown season, the 30 interception season. That's just what he does. He's a big play guy. He's risky when he throws. And I think one of the things that he's done very well in the, I want to call it off season that he took as the backup for a while, learning behind Drew Brees, learning under Sean Payton. I think these are things that have been really good for him. So I'm hoping to like put it out into the atmosphere as a Saints fan, you know, like as, you know, newly fledged Saints fan, be gone Rams. So, you know, I'm really hoping. Also, much love to Louisiana, everyone who's dealing with this, and everyone along the East Coast who Ida is just, you know, bending over. That sucks. So everyone, thoughts and prayers with you. Please, if there's any way that you can help in your community, please feel free to do so. So I'm hoping I can put this out into the atmosphere for Jameis Winston, that maybe if I say that he won't throw an interception for the first 4 weeks, then maybe he won't, because I have that power, clearly.
I think it's possible, though. I think he'll be more conservative. I don't think he'll be as aggressive as we saw him with Bruce Arians, you know, offense. We've seen Brady the first couple of weeks. He had like 3 interceptions in one game. And it's like, whoa, maybe it is Bruce Arians that's causing these interceptions, making the play calling so aggressive to go downfield. So I think a lot of people need to look at Jameis Winston in 2019 when he finished QB4, by the way, threw for 5,000 yards. Hey, hello.
Hey.
He's in the offense where he was able to, Sean Payton was able to have Drew Brees throw for 5K 5 times. And there's only been 8 NFL quarterbacks in history to throw for 5K.
Look at you and those stats right off the top. Blow my mind, LaQuan. Come on. I love it.
2021 season.
Like, we need to rename this segment from hot takes to like maybe reasonably okay takes.
Yeah, there we go.
Like, maybe we should just do that. But okay, so speaking of, you know, Jameis Winston, okay, I consider him in redraft purposes kind of a sleeper. And we touched on this on our last episode together, LaQuan, when we were talking about draft strategies. We kind of did an overarching kind of thing, what not to do. Don't get hammered. Don't let your friends bite you in the face. I mean, that was just mine. Yeah. That doesn't happen to everyone.
Amazing story.
So weird. So weird. But I wanted to focus in a little bit on something more specific for this episode. And it's around those murky rounds where we've recognized the names, but unless you're giant fantasy football dorks like we are, you may not necessarily know what's going on with the offense, what's changed, all of those things. So I really like looking at some of those kind of middle late round guys. So I'm going to rattle off some names here for you that I think, for anyone listening, when you're going into your drafts this weekend, these are names that you should consider at the wide receiver position. And LaQuan, interrupt me if you think yay or nay. But the wide receiver position, I like both and or don't get both of the wide receivers. That would be a poor choice. Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton. I really like them. And in half full point PPR, they're going around the late 6th, early 7th. Those are guys that you can pick up as a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Even, I mean, if you already have some other wide receivers as a keeper, those are excellent depth pieces. I like Teddy Bridgewater being named the starter here for Jerry Jeudy. I really like that, but I also like Cortland Sutton because he is that alpha wide receiver. He is the clear-cut wide receiver 1 in that offense, and he is going in the 7th round. That's pretty unbelievable. He was a monster before he got hurt last season, so a lot of people have kind of forgotten about him, so he's dropped. Another name, Robbie Anderson. Like, I know it's Robbie Anderson and he only starts lighting fire when it's in, playoffs, but that's okay. He's getting reunited with Sam Darnold. And what's really good about this is Sam Darnold on the Panthers is in a brand new offense. And he is going to look to Robbie Anderson as kind of a comfort security blanket for him because they have that chemistry. They have that rapport. He doesn't really necessarily need to take a whole lot of time to build it with Robbie Anderson like he does with his other receivers like DJ Moore, who I also happen to like, but he's going pretty early. I would actually pass on DJ Moore for this season, and I would target somebody like Robbie Anderson. I really like him. Let's see here. I have a lot of wide receivers, so I'll go quickly. Laviska Shenault, love him. He's also very underrated. Marvin Jones Jr., Mr. Underrated of being underrated for the Jags. So I know I just brought up Laviska. Marvin Jones, I think I've taken Marvin Jones in every single draft.
He's always like there in the 10th or 11th round.
I know, and you're like, how did we forget about this guy?
What are we doing?
I know, and he's such a big play guy. He is awesome. I love Marvin Jones. Yeah, exactly. And he knows how to do it. I mean, and he can do it basically anywhere. I love Marvin Jones. And the last wide receiver I want to bring up here really quick is actually going to be Corey Davis. Now, I have been a hater of Corey Davis for a while. In that, I mean, trash. I'm like, ew, Corey Davis, stinky, gross. But ew, exactly. Oh my God, David, like not good. Like I don't like Corey Davis, but this chemistry that he has created with Zach Wilson in the Jets has been something pretty special. And you know what? Good for him because he deserves it. And also good for Zach Wilson, which I'm very excited about. And that was Zach Wilson only has eyes for Corey Davis. And I don't think that's going to change in the regular season. And Corey Davis is going late 9th round. I don't particularly expect that to stay at the 9th round, considering a lot of people are starting to do a little bit more research.
Yeah, they're starting to look.
7th to 9th round, I am taking Corey Davis all day long. I absolutely love those. What about some wide receivers for you, LaQuan? Who are you looking for around those rounds?
So around those rounds where it gets scary, so you're probably at this time looking
Rename the segment. Around those rounds.
So the thing is, when you look for wide receivers in those like scary rounds, it's like guys that pop up as Michael Gallup, Cole Beasley, like Josh Palmer. Like I'm going to clump these three together. These guys are in situations where I believe they can step up, show up, and show out when their name is called, and they're getting drafted in these later rounds as your wide receiver 3 or 4. So therefore, Josh Palmer, he's going to be in the 3 wide receiver set. Basically, with Tyron Johnson out of the way, being released, boom, there he has more.
Which I thought was kind of crazy.
It's nuts. I did not see that happening whatsoever. That was like so left field. So when you get in those later rounds, you got guys like Michael Gallup, who's been on the platform to have like those 100+ targets, and he's been able to handle that volume before CeeDee Lamb was even in conversation. He was some weeks getting more looks than Amari Cooper. So therefore, we cannot forget about Michael Gallup in those later rounds. I definitely I can pick him up as my wide receiver 3 with Dak back. The business is booming.
I love it. I love that Michael Gallup pick. I have been stomping the ground for Michael Gallup, and I should have put him in my list, but you were wise and snagged him for yours. Okay, I'm going to go touch on RBs next because running backs always gets so gross when you get to these later rounds. They are gnarly. There is such a drop off between solid running backs that you get early, and then there's like garbage. But it doesn't mean that we cannot dumpster dive in said garbage for some hidden gems. And here are my hidden gems that I really like. Raheem Mostert, not quite so late. He's late 6th. People kind of forget about Raheem Mostert. I get it. Oft injured, I should say, because he literally tries to run through humans, run around them, make a juke. No, he doesn't. He just runs into people. He plays so aggressively, but he is fast, and he can make plays happen. I love Raheem Mostert, also kind of a running back by committee, so that's why he's probably not going too high.
Yeah.
Another one, A.J. Dillon. You guys, Jamal Williams is gone in Detroit. Actually, Jamal Williams is another one I think you should target. But this leaves A.J. Dillon, who has a different skill set from Aaron Jones. The problem between Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams is they were pretty similar in the things that they could do. So they ate in on each other's identity, if you will, a little bit. A.J. Dillon is not. He is a large wrecking ball. He is. He's Quadzilla. He's a large wrecking ball human being that it breaks tackles. I mean, his yards after the catch are phenomenal. He's a great player, and I think you can get him, what is it? Ninth round. So you can get it right around mid to late ninth round. And if anything, he's a producing insurance policy behind Aaron Jones. So there's a lot of good things going for A.J. Dillon. Kenneth Gainwell is another name I'll sprinkle out there, but I don't love his name for the Eagles as much as I love Kenyon Drake, who is going to be the RB1B is what I will call it for the Oakland. Oh my God, I said Oakland. Las Vegas, man, I tell you what.
I still say San Diego Chargers. Don't worry about it.
I know, but you know what? Can we really call them Las Vegas since they haven't even really played in their stadium yet?
No,
we can't. We can't. They're Las Vegas Raiders, Lauren. Get your mind out of 1925. Anyway, but I'm just kidding. So yeah, I really love Kenyon Drake, especially in PPR formats. Josh Jacobs is great. He finished as the RB8. Super awesome. Ooh. But they did not pay Kenyon Drake $11 million, guaranteed $11 million to put him on the sideline and be like, oh, look, a fun trick play. Go on, Kenyon, go make some magic. Like, no, he is going to be involved.
Yes.
He's going to be involved. And it's going to be Darren Waller, it's going to be Josh Jacobs, and it's going to be Kenyon Drake. Pass catchers, it's going to be Darren Waller and Kenyon Drake. I would love to see someone convince me otherwise because their wide receiving core in Las Vegas is weird. I don't know what Mayock and Gruden are doing, but I don't care because I will take Kenyon Drake and I'm obviously going to take Darren Waller. Yeah. What about running backs for you, LaQuan? Who you got?
So I have Gio Bernard as like one of the guys I've been grabbing a lot of.
I like that. I actually have not heard somebody bring up Giovanni Bernard as kind of a late round target. Explain yourself, young man.
Free. He is very free. Like he could be last pick, and those are the best picks when you find them carving out roles in offenses like the Bucs. So he can easily be Tom Brady's James White, and we've seen James White produce at least 7 to 12 targets per game with a Tom Brady in that offense. So the volume is there for checkdowns, and obviously we already know Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette are going to be battling each other for the role of the pure ground runner, like pound for pound, but the pass catcher is there. He was signed. He was picked up for a reason. Therefore, if Brady couldn't get James White in free agency, hey, why not get Gio Bernard? Let's pay him less, and he'll come in and play the same exact role and still produce. I love Gio Bernard as my last pick, being that he is super duper free.
Now I'm super upset that I only have like 2 drafts left because I should have done that. I love it because Giovanni Bernard was a stud when he was with the Bengals. I love it. I absolutely, I love that. Okay, let's see. Do you have anyone else? Because there's another name here that is
David Johnson. David Johnson could be the sleeper once forgotten with his price is so cheap. Like
I am such a David Johnson truther. I'm sorry, LaQuan, I'm interrupting you, and I don't care because everyone's like, he's washed. I'm like, no, he's not. I love him.
The Texans are washed. If anything, you can say that. But we've seen running backs produce on a bad team before, and this is David Johnson 100%. The PPR upside is the only reason why I've been grabbing him. Philip Lindsay, yes, everybody's grabbing him like literally 2 to 3 rounds before, but I think you're making the wrong choice because Lindsay doesn't come with PPR upside. You're getting a guy, David Johnson, so late, like the 10th, 11th round, when we saw him produce as a PPR monster before. Now, Lindsay isn't that guy to be catching the balls like out of the backfield. We saw him in Denver. He was the pound for pound like ground runner. He's not the pass catcher. We haven't seen him produce in that lane. So you have a guy, David Johnson, you paid. Let's not forget he was paid this year to stay for a longer contract. So he's going to be used and abused. And not to mention him and Chris Carson, they averaged the same amount of points per game, which was 15 points per game. They both played 12 games last year. So there you go. That's my case for David Johnson.
I love it. And don't forget, Houston still has a lot of justification left to prove for all of the decisions that they've made. And David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins is one of them. So I do agree with you there. I love David Johnson. I always have for various reasons. No matter what happens, I always believe in him. So I love that pick. so much. I cannot even describe it to you. Okay, if it's all right with you, my friend, let's move on to tight ends. What do you say?
Whew, now tight ends. Now I don't have many sleeper tight ends, but I'm gonna throw out Gerald Everett and Chris Herndon. I don't like Chris Herndon as a guy that I want to mention too much because he's coming from the Adam Gates. So I'm gonna lump these two together. But Everett, you need to be grabbing Matt shares for the simple fact we saw a tight end produce at a high level in that Seattle offense with Russell Wilson, and that's Jimmy Graham. They haven't had a tight end that's been able to be as great of a pass catcher since Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham was finishing top 5, top 10 those back-to-back years. The second and third year he was in that Seattle offense. So he was a touchdown monster as well. Gerald Everett is waiting for opportunity to be the guy, which he has now as a tight end one, to show that he is athletic. He's a great pass blocker as well. So he'll be on the field more times than not. So therefore, for him going this late, stock's been rising a little bit, but I think Gerald Everett's still like one of those sleepers that a lot of people are sleeping on because of his role with the Rams. So everybody's not believing of this big outburst that he's going to have. It's there. It's an offense that's going to use and abuse him. What do you
I
think?
like that. I like that because I think he's also getting reunited with that offensive coordinator too.
Yes,
Isn't there some history going there?
Yeah,
I like that. That's a real sneaky pick. I like that as well. I like Chris Herndon. I've always liked Chris Herndon.
I only put him there.
Flyer.
I only put him there to break the Gates curse. We've seen it broken before with Kenyon Drake, with
he crushed as a rookie. Yeah. As a rookie tight end, he crushed it. So he's going to be with Kirk Cousins in an offense that is missing Irv Smith with no Kyle Rudolph. I think that the opportunity is there as opposed to him trying to force opportunity in New York with the Jets. So I do like Chris Herndon, but plus it's one of those late round, just take a flyer on. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, waiver wire. No capital spent, no tears shed. I love that. In fact, definitely Gerald Everett was going to be one of my later round tight ends. I'm glad I didn't get that. I mentioned his name before. Logan Thomas is one name that I like. He's going around the 8th, but I've seen him go much earlier. So he may be someone you might want to pass up on if you have some other options, like a better running back, as opposed to Logan Thomas. But he's a name I like. Mike Gesicki is another name that I like.
Mike G, yes.
Yeah, and since we're talking about no more Gerald Everett with the Rams, what about Tyler Higbee? Like,
I am not a Higbee fan. I've been killing this hype train for the last 3 years.
Oh, man.
Everybody that follows me, they know once Higbee or...
Okay, well, whatever. I'll like Tyler Higbee and Deontay Johnson, and you can hate on both, and you do you. You do you. Fine.
Jacob Harris is the guy you need to be targeting in Dynasty. Not redraft.
Whatever. In Dynasty, yes. I'm talking redraft whatever.
I'm not touching Higbee. I'm sorry.
Another one I think is kind of interesting, but I don't know if I would use him as my only tight end. If you want to wait, pass up on all the other tight ends, and you might want to stack on, like, let's say, Gerald Everett. I think one you can probably put with Gerald Everett if you want to try to switch them out based on a matchup dependency is going to be Rob Gronkowski. Yes. He's a thing again, which I think is awesome.
It's weird though. He's like removed from like football, drinking beer, wrestling, and then boom, he's back. Super Bowl. Like, what is going on?
I don't know, but that's what Gronk does. Gronk does as Gronk does, and it is absolutely fabulous. So there you have it, guys. Those are some later round targets at the running back, wide receiver, tight end position. Just some names. Get familiar with them. These are guys that we really like to target in those later rounds that are murky and ugly and gross. Okay, before we wrap up the show here, LaQuan, what matchup? Which matchup? What are which? Which one are you the most excited about for week 1 and why?
I am excited for the Bills versus Steelers game. That is like one of the games on the schedule that it's going to be electric. That's going to be a game my eyes are going to be glued. For the simple fact, I love watch Josh Allen play. Like, it's something like really electric about him. Like, it's something that just attracts me to all the Bills games now. And obviously I'm a Rams fan. This is the only other team like I'm like committed to watch just because of Josh Allen. But then on the flip side of that, you have Deontay Johnson. I have max shares of him if nobody knows that.
Do you?
Yeah. I do.
Sure you do.
I want to see him turn up. I want to see him, put up big points like week 1. Like, I want him to have the confidence, set the tone for the rest of the season. We're not worried about the drops. If you are listening to this, we are not worried about your drops. They do not matter. It don't matter. Do you see the volume this guy gets? Follow the volume. That's all that matters. So Deontay Johnson is another reason why I am excited to see this week 1 matchup.
I was actually going to choose that one, but my neighbor, also my very good friend, who I loathe and detest during the football season, is a just ginormous Steelers fan. So I couldn't, in my right cantankerous mind,
Yeah.
pick the Bills and Steelers game just to give him the satisfaction of knowing that I'm really looking forward to watching
Yeah.
these play. Even though I love Najee Harris and I love Deontay Johnson, I just
Mhm.
have to make sure I show absolute disdain when he's around. I don't even know if he's watching this video, but I really do like that pick. I'm going to go low hanging fruit. I'm such a nice person, aren't I? I'm like,
Yeah.
my best friend. I'm going to make him really mad. Like, I swear I'm a nice person. Okay, but my matchup is going to be low hanging fruit. I don't really care, but give me the Thursday night football game. Give me that very first one. Give me Dak Give me Dak Prescott coming back right there in that Dallas. What you say all the way down there
You
in
have to
Tampa.
talk in that voice the next episode. Then
I will. I just do it the whole time. And I'm like, oh my God, David. So I can't. No. So yeah, with Dak Prescott back, the Dallas Cowboys against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday night, the very first game to open up the 2021 season. I don't think you could ask for two better teams to really kick this off. It really is. It's going to be very exciting. I can't wait to see just how much the Buccaneers have grown, which sounds so silly because they just won the Super Bowl, but like they were kind of freshly together. You know what I mean? Like I want to see how they've grown.
I want to see Antonio Brown too. I want to see.
I do too. He's another late round target. I should have added. Darn it, we're bad. Okay, yeah, Antonio Brown is another one you should go for. Skip Evans, Skip Godwin, go for Antonio Brown. I love that because his value is just through the roof. Yeah, I want to see Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, he's nuts. And I want to see Ezekiel Elliott come back and make a statement. You know,
he's shredded.
Like, he's washed. Yeah, exactly. He's going to do really great. I'm excited to see Michael Gallup. I'm excited to see Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. I'm excited to see both of these teams, all of these players. Plus, I'm just excited it's going to be football again, and it's going to be super duper awesome. Well, thank you so much, LaQuan, for joining me yet again and bickering with me like brothers and sisters will do here on Mayo Media Net. So tell everyone, if they don't know already, which you should, but if they don't, where can they find you and what are you working on this season?
You can find me everywhere on social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, et cetera, even Facebook still somehow. But Real Deal Fantasy, I'm basically there. You can Google the name LaQuan Jones. I'll be the first one to pop up because I think my name's kind of rare. No, I think a lot of other people have it. But
well,
anyway.
The only thing that popped into my head is that I'm not the only stepmom Lauren, but luckily I got her to page 2. So, you know, go Google mine. Not safe for work.
Oh, my son just walked in the basement. Hold on, buddy.
Great timing. Great timing.
But yeah, you can find me everywhere.
Hi, kiddo. Thank you so much, LaQuan. Again, go find him. Real Deal Fantasy, everyone. I am Lauren Carpenter, stepmom Lauren. Thank you so much for joining us for this video. Have a wonderful weekend. Good luck in your drafts. Remember, prizepicks.com, promo code MMN. Go ahead, check out that 7-Eleven challenge. It's easy. It's going to be super fun. It is a season-long thing. I cannot wait to see you guys again, which you will be hearing from me probably on Monday. And then that's like only a few sleeps away until real football on Thursday night. Everybody, good luck in your drafts this weekend if you're having them, and we will see you soon.